Hey everyone, welcome back to the podcast, Campus Inside Out, Episode 2. Today, we're going to be chatting about something we have all been through overthinking. So I'm back here with Raghav, Jeet, and Rachel. How's it going, guys?
Hello, guys.
Hi guys.
Let's get right into it. Raghav, how would you explain overthinking?
Well, Amok, overthinking is just our brains getting stuck in a loop and won't stop hovering over the same thing over and over again.
Exactly, Raghav. It's like you're replaying a conversation from 3 days ago or stressing about something that hasn't even happened yet, and it's exhausting.
Yeah, instead of helping you sort things out, it makes you even more confused and stressed. It's like being stuck in a traffic jam, but all in your head.
Yeah, I've been there. So, what do you think causes overthinking? Raghav?
Amok, one of the big causes or the major reasons that causes overthinking is fear of failure or stress that you go through because you are afraid of failing something that is important to your life, exam, some sports event, or something important.
Totally. I myself overthink a lot when it comes to stuff like exam, sports, or any other competition. Those nights, I replay the whole incident again in my head. I believe that one of the main reasons for that is perfectionism too. People set ridiculously high standards for themselves and then freak out about not reaching them.
Right, and there's a low self-esteem. When you're unsure of yourself, you start second-guessing every little thing you do or say.
And of course, stuff from the past can mess with you. If you've had a bad experience, you often start to overthink to try and stop it from happening again.
Yep, it's like a brain's trying to protect you, but it just ends up stressing you out more.
Exactly. Let's talk about what happens when you overthink too much. Jeet, what is one thing you have noticed?
To be frank, Amog, I usually overthink a lot after losing something. It can be either after losing a basketball match or open debates, thinking again and again about how I could have outperformed others. To be honest, it's super draining. It's like you're not doing anything physically and yet you get exhausted.
Exactly. For example, I had an MUN a couple of weeks ago, and the night before it happened, I was unable to sleep because I kept on overthinking what if someone asks me something that I'm completely unprepared for? Or what if the questions I'm asking aren't valid enough? Or what if I do something stupid and the chair recognizes me and deducts points for it?
Well, Amok, at the end of the day, I'll always get back to you via chat.
I usually overthink a lot about my exams. Like, what if I don't get good marks? What if I mess up in the exam? And once I'm done writing my exam, I compare my answers with my friends, which just makes me overthink even more. It's a whole cycle that messes with my head and ends up affecting my next exam.
Yeah, and then your brain loses its ability to think and even make small decisions because you think over it like crazy and you end up with no results and pending work.
Yeah, and it messes with your sleep too. You're just lying in bed, trying to sleep, and your brain is like, nope, let's keep thinking. Cheat, you have had that happen, right?
Oh, Amog, all the time. I have stayed up worrying about stuff that doesn't even matter, like a random conversation or something from way back in the past. Then I end up tossing and turning sides on my bed or turning my pillow upside down. But to be honest, none of these help me, and I end up sleeping at 3 even if I go to bed at 12.
Exactly. Sometimes a random cringe memory just replays in your head, and you're like, oh god, why did I do that? And the thing is, it's completely irrelevant.
Well, Amog, a solution for this is you try to remember other cringe things of other people. You might realize that you can't remember any of those things because you are the only cringe person over here.
And you know what? It can totally mess with your relationships. I recently had an argument with my friend, and then I felt very bad about it. I thought to talk to her, and when I went to talk to her, she was like, no, that wasn't something to worry about.
Yeah, and Rachel, speaking from your experiences, it just leads to misunderstanding because you are assuming things instead of talking it out.
Totally. So, what can we do about overthinking?
Say, for me, Amok, it's going out for a walk while music blasting into my ears because you can't overthink when you can't think.
I completely agree with you, Raghav, over here. And to add to what you said, I think if we keep ourselves busy, we won't overthink. Like after all, the saying goes, idle mind is a devil's workshop.
A good trick to stop overthinking is take a sheet of paper and you start writing everything you are thinking or feeling right now. And when you are done writing it, read it out and you will realize how minute the issue was and how easily it could have been solved.
Those are some great tips. I think it's also important to focus on what you have control over because there's just no point stressing about stuff that you really have no control over. Now, let's talk about some lifestyle changes that can help with overthinking. Any suggestions?
Amok, mindfulness is one big thing, like meditation or just taking few deep breaths can help you stay present and have calm in your mind.
Yeah, and don't forget exercise. Going for a run or to a gym can really clear your head and make you feel better.
Yeah, that's actually because working out releases endorphins, and that's something like a feel good hormone.
I'm really into journaling. Writing down helps me sort my thoughts and it makes everything way less overwhelming.
Totally. And talking to friends helps too. Sometimes just saying things out loud makes you realize it's just not as bad as you thought it was.
Since I go to a lot of these debates, for me it's mostly after I give a speech or any counter argument. I'll go over what I've said in my head and wonder if I could have added something more or could have been more precise with my sarcasms.
Yeah, for me, it's all about social situations. I overthink what people say, how I come across, especially when I'm meeting someone new.
For me, it's when my favorite sports team doesn't perform well and suddenly I'm more concerned about their careers instead of my career.
Yeah, some of my friends who are massive football fans, sometimes when their favorite football teams are not performing up to their expectations, I go and I make fun of them about it. But they are actually really disappointed.
Yeah, I can say Manchester isn't red anymore.
We've put so much pressure on ourselves in those moments. But what can we do to calm that anxiety?
Yeah, or try some grounding techniques. For example, focus on what's around you, like what you see, touch, or hear. It helps you snap out of your head.
I love that. And remember, if overthinking gets too much, it's totally fine to talk to a therapist. They can give you some great tools to manage it. Now, let's bust some myths about overthinking. Jeet, have you heard of any?
Yeah, some people think overthinking makes you smarter or more thorough, but it usually just leaves you stuck in the past, hovering over imaginary situations, which I believe is really common amongst teenage girls.
Honestly, people act like you can just switch it off, but it's way harder than that. It takes time and practice to really get there.
Some people think it's just a phase, but for many, it's something they have to deal with regularly.
Spot on. Let's wrap up with how we can help someone who overthinks. Any takes?
The best thing is to just listen. Sometimes people just need to vent without being judged.
Yeah, and you can help them challenge their thoughts. Ask them if they are worrying about is really likely to happen.
And hey, don't forget to add distractions such as doing something fun together to help take their mind off stuff.
Exactly. Just being there for them can make all the difference. What's any key takeaways from this?
I'd say first step is just recognizing when you are overthinking. Once you notice it, you can start doing something about it.
And remember, guys, everyone overthinks sometimes. You are not alone.
Be kind to yourself. Overthinking doesn't make you weak. It's just something we all have to deal with. We're all in the same boat.
Absolutely. Thank you for joining us, everyone. I hope this helped. Remember, you're not alone in this. Actually, I know some of my friends who are big football fans. The laugh is obviously Manchester is not red anymore. Nay, Manchester is not red. Hasn't been said. You're imagining things. The Manchester is not red happens after I say, yeah, some of my friends also suffer from this problem.